Okay, welcome back, Vintage Gamers. Friday preliminary event. I'm gonna try something exciting. I wanted to work on Hermit Druid some more. It's a deck that I always think is. It always feels like it's so close to being playable, and then it never is. I figured maybe we can solve some of the issues by adding in a Natural Order Grand Unifier Atraxa package. I don't know why I said the back half first, but I did. So this time I'm going to play just the one Oracle with the full Narcomoeba Dread Return Cabal Therapy package so that the Hermit Druid is a one-card combination, but I'm going to give myself access to a backup plan of Natural Order Atraxa off of our Dryad Arbor Fetch Mana base and our Deathrite Shamans and Hermit Druids, of course. Also, you can always make green creatures with Elks. And then the rest is pretty self-explanatory. Blue restricted cards and non-blue restricted or non-restricted blue cards, demonic, vampiric, and console Oracle, obviously. And then I'm going to try out a Jace in this deck just as a way to pitch extra superfluous combo pieces, things that we don't want. I guess there's always the option of maybe like discarding our Atraxa and dread returning it. Drawing Atraxa is never a bad problem, never a bad thing. It always pitches a Force of Will, and it actually totally castable. You do have Black Lotus and Deathrite Shamans and Lana, so I never really have too much of an issue with drawing Atraxa, as you can always pitch it. The cards I don't really want to draw are like Dread Returns and Narcomoebas and Natural Orders and stuff, so that's why I'm interested in like having some kind of looting or filtering effect in my deck. I don't know if this is the best one. I just chose that one because it's the first thing that came to my mind. We do have to fit a Boseiju in here, so we have access to a couple other things. We won't really have the ability in this deck to board out of the Narcomoeba combo, so we'll have to keep that in mind when we do sideboarding. And we'll have to see how it goes. Round one about to start. If you'd like to see your deck played on this channel, check out the Patreon link in the description below, where you can find all the information you need to submit a donation deck list. Let's battle. Okay, here we go. Round one with Hermit Druid Atraxa, and we've got the classic double double Natural Order hand, which we will promptly mulligan. That is about as bad as it gets. This one has double Natural Order, but I think this is fine. We'll just put a Natural Order back, and we have the ability to fetch a Dryad Arbor, so we can go Time Walk, Probe, and see what we got. I mean, we'll probe first, and then we'll see what we want to do here, but we at least have a game plan. It's a pretty all-in game plan, but it's a game plan. Could always, oh, they're on Jewel Shops. They have the blue mana off of Sapphire, as well as Time Walk, Saga, Force of Will. That is just so bad for us. So they can go Force My Best Play Saga, Sapphire, Time Walk, and then make a Saga token, double Saga token immediately. It's basically the worst things that you could happen. So I guess if we draw land and force. That's our out here, and then we still need to win with a natural with an Atraxa trigger, which I'm not even sure it actually gets there. So we did draw the land. I mean, we have the ability to Natural Order on turn, you know, 2 quotation marks, but my opponent has Force of Will, and they have like this Sapphire Time Walk here is just unbelievably the most brutal. It makes Saga very, very potent. They are just not going to Time Walk. We are never casting this Narcomoeba here when we can draw it into Force of Will. That would be a huge misplay. I can't believe they didn't play Time Walk. That must mean maybe they drew a second Force or something. I'm not really sure what would get them to not play Time Walk there. Like, we actually have an out here. If our opponent didn't draw a Force of Will and we draw a Force of Will, that means we can force their force with this Narcomoeba. We drew Dig Through Time. 4 cards in yard, 4 mana. So I can cast Dig Through Time. I will probably cast this on their turn. Don't really think Dig Through Time particularly helps us stop getting buried by what's about to happen, but whatever. It is what it is. All right, well, I'm gonna cast Dig Through Time and see if it resolves. All right, so it's getting forced, pitching Displacer Kitten. So they have Time Walk, Ancient Tomb, and an unknown card. And we have a natural order that will resolve next turn as long as it doesn't get forced. Here, if they hit a Moxen, they can go Ancient Tomb, Time Walk, make 2 5/5s, get a Black Lotus or something. I don't know. It doesn't look good for me, but I also don't understand why opponent didn't Time Walk at this first turn of this game. Maybe they're trying to kill us with Time Walk, with just like making 2 constructs and Time Walking. I don't really understand. I mean, maybe they're just trying to Time Walk to make sure they get a, Black Lotus faster. They drew the Mana Crypt, so now they have Time Walk. That's really bad for me. All right, they have 1 card we don't know about. They have infinite mana, basically, and 2 constructs. If they hit, I mean, they can make a construct and get a Black Lotus and cast Jewel this turn. They can cast Pio this turn and have 3 things to bounce. It looks extremely bad. Though, I guess if they don't have any of those things and they get like a Sensei's Top and we resolve a natural order, maybe there's a chance. Okay, that's a good sign. I mean, they could still have, I guess, another blue card. This is going to be a Grim Monolith, or what is this? I guess they could still have Grim Monolith Pio, and then Pio for 5 and kill us. That would be pretty bad. All of these things are bad, but I think this game, I don't know, it's a little weird because they did draw the Mana Crypt to make the Time Walk line better. But even resolving Natural Order here gets us an Atraxa. Is the Atraxa actually winning? Currently, it blocks these construct tokens. They have PO? Jeez. Oh, no, they have Metamorph. Okay, so they're just going constructs. I mean, currently, so they have no cards in hand. 10 life. We have 10 life. We get an Atraxa. Could be winning. Let's see what happens here. We will Natural Order into Atraxa. Atraxa is going to give us Sapphire, Deathrite Shaman, Ponder, Daze, and land. And we can go Deathrite Shaman, and that gives us a blocker. If they play an artifact, though, we do have to chump with our Atraxa. So maybe what I should do is, instead of taking Ponder, take Dread Return so I can block with this Atraxa and then recast it. It's kind of silly, but should be possible. So I'm going to take Tropical, Sapphire, Dread Return, Daze, and Deathrite Shaman. And then I will play Tropical, Deathrite Shaman, Sapphire. And I think we're actually insulated now against constructs. And we just have to hope they don't draw something. I mean, right now I can actually Daze a Jewel. Can't really beat a PO here, but... We're not playing land Narcoviva? It's better for us to play Deathrite Shaman. In case, like, they make an attack and we get to keep... Like, if we don't have to make a block, then Deathrite Shaman untapping is so much stronger than having a Narcoviva. And there's a world where we actually don't even have to block with this Deathrite Shaman. We just trade with Atraxa, gain 7 life, go to 17, and take, 14. We can do that, too. And then keep a Deathrite Shaman in for next turn. Like, you're obsessed with Narcomoeba. I don't know why. All right, they spun in Upkeep. That's interesting. They should know the top 3 cards. I don't know why they would spin again. This tapped out their blue mana, so now they're attacking with 7. I could not cast both. I had 2 mana. I played my land drop for turn. What are you talking about? All right, so here, like I said, I will trade with this construct, take 14, but I'll be at 17. And then I can just dread return my Atraxa, which is not something I planned on doing exactly, but is something I considered doing. I drew another Narcomoeba. I think you'll get your wish. I think we will cast an Atraxa. All right, dread return my my Atraxa. All right, I will take Oko, Hermit Druid, Ancestral Recall, Force of Will. Huh. Tropical Island. Maybe I won't take Hermit Druid so that I can play a new Deathrite and a Narcomoeba this turn. I don't think I need Hermit Druid to win this game. I technically can just win this game with Atraxa. So if I just take Force, Deathrite, Shaman, Oko, and land, it's probably just fine that way. So I can go land. I guess I could just Oko one of these as well. Just get a Narcomoeba in play. Now I can't even die, and I'll just swing back with Atraxa and win, so there's just nothing else happening in this game. I think we just won the game by natural ordering for Atraxa and then dread returning for full mana our Atraxa back, which is something. It's definitely something that could happen in Magic the Gathering. And we have our force now for their combo, so that is kind of wild. Thanks for the resub, Mike. Like, even if they put an artifact into play, I have chump and attack with Atraxa, so. Or I could let my Atraxa die and then dread return flashback by sacking my board. That is not exactly the game plan we had in mind today, but it did work, so all right. I thought about this a little bit when I was building the deck. I'm like, maybe there's a world where we could like loot the Atraxa away and dread return it, but all right, so we get to board in some sick cards here. We're gonna board in Collector Roof, and Vigor and Negation. I don't know how we're gonna board that many cards in. We might just hit the combo, but then we're gonna be low on blue cards. So I'm not exactly sure how we're gonna board this because we don't have a transformational sideboard, which is what I like to do usually with Hermit Druid, where I take out the full combo and play more around the Oracle part. I mean, the Daze looks pretty bad. The Jace is probably pretty bad. I don't really think Fluster and Misstep are bad against Jewel. They're just not amazing against Jewel. I'm not really sure you're allowed to cut a therapy because if you try to combo and you don't have therapy, there's problems there. Could we just board out Natural Order Atraxa? Yeah, we totally could. It's not a very large package. It's like 4 cards. It's a pretty small package. Though we do have Natural Order for Collector Roof, which is not bad either. I don't actually think Oko is bad in this matchup. I don't even really think that Misstep or Fluster are both bad in this matchup either. I gotta go find a list, I guess. We've been over this before in the past, though. Like, Mana Vault, Manifold Key, Sensei's Top, Soul Ring, Ancestral. I guess that's, like, not the greatest. So we could do this and just board out a Atraxa package and just bring in a bunch of controlling elements. And opponent's not on a Leyline deck, so it's not like they're very good at stopping Hermit Druid anyways. This doesn't seem bad to me. That might be the best play. I don't know, let's try it. Like, normally what I like to do is take out, like, Narcomoeba's Cabal Therapy, Dread Return, and then bring in extra Thassa's Oracles, but I don't have that here. Yeah, I don't know. It seems fine actually. Like I have to cut something, and I don't think cutting parts of the combo are like is very relevant or very strong. So, all right. So this hand has a vigor and a cabal therapy. Is that enough like to keep against Jewel? Is one vigor gonna get the job done against Jewel? It might. Plus therapy. I'm gonna try it. I'm not 100% sure if this is exact. Like, I obviously we want to have a force of negation and force of will, but this does have interaction. If they play Saga here, I'm hitting on the stack. Am I gonna immediately get punished for taking Misstep out when they cast Ancestral Recall off of their Sapphire again? Top, sure. No, they're just gonna spin their top. This isn't a very productive force of vigor right now. But I mean, they had a time walk off a Sapphire last game. It's a very powerful play. I think our turn is gonna just be cast therapy, targeting them, naming Coveted Jewel probably. That's kind of the card we don't have covered, right? Huh. All right. Don't think it's very good to hit these right now. Maybe if I see their hand or something. I don't know. It doesn't feel good to hit the Sapphire Opal. I guess it's not bad to hit the Sapphire Opal. It takes all their blue mana away. I don't know. I kind of want to leave this for Saga. Consult. Interesting. Yeah, so maybe I pitch Deathrite Shaman to Force of Vigor so I can play Oko as a follow-up. I guess I could technically consult for a Force of Will. I don't think I want to do that. I think I just want a therapy naming Jewel, because if they PO, I can just hit these two things. It's a little risky, I guess, but at least it's something that's doing something. Maybe it does nothing. I don't know. We'll have to see. All right, let's do Coveted Jewel. See what they've got in their hand. Nope, their hand is Opal PO Seagate. Okay. All right. Opal PO Seagate. So if I Vigor on their upkeep and they don't have a force in their top three cards, they can't PO, and so is that good? It might just be better to wait until they try to PO. I guess they could always PO on my turn. That would be pretty bad. It feels kind of dumb to hit the Opal when they have another Opal, though. Man, I don't know. My gut instinct says Vigor now. I guess they could always like metamorph my Sapphire. This puts them pretty far from POing. They would need to draw... I guess they could just draw Grim Monolith and then they could PO. So maybe it doesn't actually put them far from POing. Now, there's immediately the Saga that I was worried about. But it's good. I mean, we know their hand. So I do win the game right now if I draw Oracle. Narcomoeba, sure. I could actually Narcomoeba and hit their PO. I wonder if that's what we want to do here. Play Narcomoeba and therapy their PO. I mean, they're pretty far from POing, right? I could technically just hit their Opal. I don't know if any of that is like super good. I can just play an Oko. What if I like Oko target this top and they draw with the top, but it actually costs them? That doesn't actually cost them very much of anything. I don't know. Well, I feel like we should be demonicking. I mean, we could technically demonic for a Hermit Druid, but if we hit our one Oracle, the Hermit Druid is just garbage. So I don't think that makes a lot of sense. I'm gonna play the Oko. Not sure it's correct, but I'm gonna play the Oko. And now I'm gonna consider, do I want to try to make them draw with this top? Is that really a good use of my mana? I don't think that's a good use of my mana. All right. They get another spin. We are kind of getting bullied by Sensei's top here. I don't know what to do with this demonic consultation. I really don't know what to do with it. It's mostly so that you have a 2-card Thassa's Oracle option, but obviously we can go for some of our 4-ofs. We could go for Hermit Druid or Force of Will are the big ones. Yes, I definitely could go Therapy the Opal away. I don't know if that's what I want to do. We can always attack the Opal with Oko as well. All right, well, let's see what happens. I guess there's like some amount of dying available here. If they do something like, I don't know, Seagate Ancestral. So they drew Emerald. So they have Emerald, Opal, Land, PO. Oh, I guess that's pretty good, yeah. Yeah, maybe I am just supposed to take the PO. It felt like they were kind of far from PO, but they weren't really that far from PO, so. They just, what is this? Does this mean they drew a Tinker? Oh, they drew Jewel. Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess that works too. So that wouldn't have only helped if I had hit the Opal. I guess I should have hit the Opal because this just means they can go Seagate as their land for turn and then PO everything. So I'm pretty sure I'm just dead from here. I mean, the other thing I could have done is I could have consulted for Force, which maybe is what we should have done. Yeah, I mean, Sensei's top destroyed us in this game. Sensei's top just made all their draws good. I can't imagine we could ever win this game from this point. What if I like consulted for Collector Oof? That would have been a pretty interesting play, actually. Maybe I should have done that. Could they really beat a Collector Oof from this point? They probably couldn't have. I think I should have done that. That actually is a really, really compelling line. Man, I feel so stupid. I couldn't really think of a good way to use it, and my opponent didn't have an extra land drop, so they would have to spin into exactly Ancient Tomb to play the game, and then we did have follow-up Oko, so I think that was the play. I mean, obviously that play can lose, right? There's some amount of loss in that play if you just mill both of your Collector Roofs or ones on the bottom. All right, so we got a turn back. We did get a turn back here. They could have drawn Force. So I guess what we can do is... So we can always go Narcomoeba, take their Coveted Jewel with Cabal Therapy. But that doesn't let us consult for Collector Oof, which I think is what we want to do right now. They could obviously have drawn blue card Force. Like, we know that they have 6 cards in their hand, and we know that one of them is Jewel. And that's it, right? Is it possible to win with just Oko and Oof? I think it's likely to win with just Oko and Oof. We could make an elk and sack it. That's a pretty solid line. That will let us know if they have force. But I don't think you want to name force with the therapy still, right? You're still just going to name Jewel. I guess if they have a force, we can't realistically beat it unless we name it. The thing is, if we elk and therapy, then it takes away lines like I turn off. Like I could turn this emerald into an elk. Turning off their opal makes them not be able to get a saga token. It's pretty strong, right? So I'm not really convinced that it's better to not just go console oak, console oof. Because if I go console oof and they force it, then I still have at least turn the emerald into an elk. I mean, then they just get a lotus and they kill me, right? So maybe my line is actually. I mean, they still also have spin top and draw into force. So even if I stand up an elk and Cabal Therapy and hit their force of will and then go Collector Roof, I could also have Dismember, I guess, too. All right, I think I'm going to get. They could also have Force of Negation if I name Force of Will. It's all. I don't think anything covers everything. I think my line is going to be. I could also get Mental Misstep, right? I think my line is going to be Force of Will and just go for the max play. Double Kitten, double Jewel, Grim Monolith, Time Walk Kitten, and Ancient Tomb. So they actually will be able to play Jewel, but it will be... Okay, so if my Demonic Consultation doesn't kill me... this will be attack first. Yeah, I should have attacked first. Agreed. All right, so if my... they also can still spin for Force of Will. If this doesn't kill me, though, and it resolves, I think we actually are in a good spot. All right, it didn't kill me. I lost... I didn't lose my Oracle either. All right, here's their spin. If this spin finds a Force of Will or Dismember, we lose probably. But if it doesn't, we have a good shot. Okay. Oh, actually, I should look at this one in case I lost my Oracle. Oh, I did lose my Oracle. So I did lose my Oracle. So there's no Hermit Druid kill anymore. My Oracle is in my top 6. So I have 22 cards left, but I have an active Oko and an active Oof. And they have Dead Card and Jewel, which I guess they could technically cast Jewel, but then they won't be able to play a Dismember, and I will be able to steal the Jewel. They have a Displacer Kitten that they can't cast. They can cast this turn. They can cast Displacer Kitten. So I guess if they cast Displacer Kitten this turn, then we can just Oko it. We can even steal it. Exile up to one target non-land permanent you control, then return it to the battlefield. I don't know. I think if this Oof resolves, I think we are favored based on their current hand. Obviously, like I said, spinning into Force or spinning into Dismember changes things completely. All right, it resolves. It's a resolver. All right, so they can tap this Saga for mana and then play Ancient Tomb and play Kitten, but that would let us have a Kitten. I don't know if that's something I'm interested in doing. I could just elk the Kitten, obviously. They can also Time Walk, and they can also play Ancient Tomb, but they can't play Jewel and Time Walk. Soul Ring, sure. Are they gonna play Kitten or are they gonna Time Walk? Oh, they're just gonna play Jewel. and hope they draw Dismember off for Seagate Reborn. Well, that's a play. Because they can't play another land this turn, so they can't Time Walk no matter what. All they can hit is Dismember. Yes, I Oko'd my food and then sacked it to Cabal Therapy. So if my opponent didn't hit Dismember off of this, then I get to take the Jewel and draw 3, and I can't imagine losing from there, right? All right, cool. Ancient Tomb is gone, and 1 Jewel is gone. That was a really bold play from them. I don't know if that's really a forced line. I drew a force. All right, I'm just gonna stand up Jet and attack for 5, 3-turn clock, and I have a force backup, so I don't think I need to like turn off key or something. Well, yeah, I mean the Cabal Therapy is gone, and so it is a little confusing. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I am gonna just demonic for my most powerful blue card that I have left. So that way I have double force. I will take Time Walk. I obviously don't want to double force, but I can double force. And if I don't have to double force, then I can just Time Walk and win. That was an interesting set of games. I feel like pretty lucky that my opponent's hands were a little bit underpowered for the average Jewel draw. And I think their PO for 4 just didn't draw them what they needed, right? Console for Oof was extremely good line. I'm sad I didn't see it the first turn, but I'm glad that I figured it out eventually, and I was lucky enough to get another turn to do it, right? That was a good line. I didn't think about that till I did. There might like 2 oofs is a pretty low number of oofs, but I'm not sure how many is the right number. Like it could be 3 oofs, 2 vigors instead, but yeah, I'm not convinced my opponent's hands were keeps. I have gotten pretty extreme on what I think a keepable Jewel Shop's hand is nowadays. My opinion has changed quite drastically. I got into a big argument, I guess, on in one of the YouTube comments with one of the viewers, who said all reasonable things, but basically the main disconnect was I think that Jewel is a turn 1, turn 2 combo deck and should be keeping hands reflected as such. In the same way that Oops All Spells is a turn 1, turn 2 combo deck. It's about half a turn slower than Oops All Spells, and obviously it has the Saga backup plan, but so I don't even care if this Displacer Kitten resolves because I can just take it with Collector Oof. And I don't think there's any problem with them blinking things. Oh. They had enough mana to do that? Oh, I guess they hit Ancient Tomb. I'll just force it. Like, this seems like a totally normal thing to just force and not worry about things. They have a Jewel, a Time Walk, and something and an Unknown in their hand, right? So, anyways. All right, not a bad. We won game 1 by natural ordering Atraxa and then chumping with our trading with our Atraxa and then casting Dread Return, hard cast Dread Return back our Atraxa, and then in game 2 we won by consulting for 2 of Oof. So, very compelling match. All right, here we go. Round 2 versus Andreas. Looks like they have a Lurrus if they're going to reveal a companion here. Maybe they'll reveal a Lutri. They're going to reveal a Lurrus, and we're going to have a very solid Deathrite Shaman Ancestral hand. A classic bug hand, if I've ever seen one. So I wonder if Andreas is trying out the latest Shere Khan top 8 list, which is an artifact turbo vault key deck, or if it's Jeskai, or if it's Breach, or maybe it's the recent Esper BPK style deck that I was playing. Who knows? There's a couple different options under the Lurrus category here. Just gonna go Emerald, C, and Deathrite Shaman. And then on their upkeep, I will cast this Ancestral Recall. All right, I've got a Hermit Druid. I've got fast mana. I've got a Mental Misstep for like a Swords to Plowshares. Narcomoeba, not great, obviously. So I think what I'll do is I will fetch an Underground Sea, and I will play Oko and see if I can't get Oko countered as bait for our Hermit Druid. Opponent's deck is very hard pressed to beat an Oko if they're on, Jeskai Lurrus. If they're gonna Pyroblast, I will definitely misstep back up here, really force them into a precarious situation. Consider, so maybe they're on Breach. Consider typically signals they're on Breach. They milled over Mental Misstep. That just resolves. All right. I don't think I'm gonna steal. I could actually, and play Narcomoeba. Yeah, maybe I will. Just make their graveyard lower. I don't have an extra mana open. Maybe I'm supposed to leave an Underground Sea up so that I could eat in response to a crazy Breach line, but this at least gives us extra things to sack. We do need to be careful going for a Hermit Druid combo. The opponent could easily have Force of Will, Force of Negation, Flusterstorm. Don't think it's correct to hit those. Opponent milled over Flusterstorm. Okay. Interesting. Maybe they were looking for a land drop. So the question ends up becoming, do we want to bring in Leyline against what we perceive to be Breach? Do we want to bring in Collector Roof? Do we want to bring in pushes? I don't really know. Like, all of these cards could theoretically be good against Breach to some degree. We also don't know how all in on Breach they are. Maybe they're not even on Breach. Maybe they're on just some kind of blue-red Lurrus deck with Considers. I don't know. I think the answer is I'd like to at least bring in Collector Oof. And I'll take out something like Daze on the draw. I kind of think that this is probably a matchup where we don't really need Natural Order Atraxa again. In that case, we get to bring in... I think I want to have access to a Fatal Push. And maybe we want to have access to, like, double negation. It's not exactly easy to say, because we don't really know what their list consists of. But I like this idea. This seems fine. Obviously, they're probably not going to bring in ley lines because they're on Lurrus. So that helps towards our Hermit Druid combo. So far, we've done a lot of boarding out of this Atraxa plan. I don't know if that is a bad sign or a good sign. But my opponent's deck should be very heavy on Flusterstorms, so I don't really want to run like natural orders into Flusterstorms if I can help it. I was thinking the natural order Atraxa might be better against things that are not Flusterstorming me. Looks like it's still going to be Lurrus, so we won't get leylined, which is nice. Our hand consists of a Force, a Deathrite Shaman, and no land drop. Probably a keep. They, of course, did not have a fetch land, so we do look a little silly. But hit our land, so that's nice. I think my plan here is just going to be to cast Therapy on them and then play a Deathray Shaman. I'm gonna just name Force of Will. If they want to fluster this, that's also fine. Ah, Merchant Scroll, Pyroblast, Consider. This is a keep? I guess Andreas wasn't lying when they say they keep all mediocre hands. I made a post on Twitter where I said, this is 2023. There's a London Mulligan. You should not be keeping mediocre hands in Vintage. And Andreas did reply, I keep all mediocre hands. So I guess that's true. Oh, man. Consider binning Wasteland. Okay, good to know. That's actually kind of good for me because I can now eat it with my Deathray Shaman. I am extremely skeptical that this is a keepable hand in any world. But they are a powerful wizard, and I could easily know better than me. They did draw a Jet, so now they'll be able to hold up Pyroblast while they cast Merchant Scroll. So that's quite a good draw for them. Very good draw for them. I'm just going to force Ancestral. They're so far behind right now, right? They're tapped out of Pyroblast too, which makes me want to just go Merchant Ancestral of my own. While I can't get Pyroblasted. Maybe I'll hit my land drop. Looks pretty good. Can go Hermit Druid Time Walk next turn if we want. They have 2 unknowns and a Pyroblast. Okay. We also have like Therapy the Pyroblast if we want. We can go Therapy the Pyroblast, Time Walk with Force Backup, and then Hermit Druid combo them, assuming they have nothing left in their hand. It's a Ragavan. Sure. Wish I had my Dryad Arbor. Maybe they'll hit my Thassa's Oracle. They hit a Flusterstorm. Okay. Means they could cast something this turn if they have something. But we know they have Volcanic Island Pyroblast as 2 of their last cards here, so I'm pretty happy with the current situation. So they have 1 unknown. Could be like a Surgical Extraction or something, maybe. So yeah, so what we'll do is we'll eat their land, then we'll Therapy their Pyroblast, and we'll go Hermit Druid Time Walk, and we'll kill them. Assuming they don't have something else here on this turn. Like a Time Walk is pretty good for them here, because they'll get back their monkey. I can't really counter it. But They have Force of Will, but no blue card because they have a Ragavan. So Pyroblast gets taken. I play a Hermit Druid. I play a Time Walk, and then I win. Nice. I guess I could draw Dread Return on this turn, and I don't have a Cabal Therapy. So that would be pretty bad. Narcomoeba wouldn't do it because we have more Narcomoeba. So yeah, that worked out. I guess we might have enough mana to hardcast Dread Return, so maybe that wouldn't have been a problem, right? We would have... No, we wouldn't have to. We would be short a mana. So drawing Dread Return was our only issue in that game. If we drew Dread Return, we wouldn't be able to do it because we already used our one therapy. So then we would have to wait until we drew a mana. So we'd probably just like play an Oko or something. But they have like, yeah, like, that Oko should be fine because they have just what, Ragavan and Pyro. They get to go Lurrus and it seems fine. Okay, here we go. 2-0, and who do you know? It's our favorite 2-0 battler, Lord Beerus on Dredge. So, let's see what we've got. This hand can turn 1 Deathrite Shaman beat Dredge. Turn 1 Deathrite Shaman. Like, I would always keep this hand if I didn't know my opponent was on Dredge. But knowing my opponent's on Dredge... Maybe you still keep this hand? Hmm. You're not going to be able to cast the Gush. We obviously are casting turn 1 Deathrite Shaman, so... The only Gush is only getting cast because we're going to have to eat every turn. But drawing a land isn't bad because we do have a Gush. Drawing any Hermit Druid is not bad. Drawing any Natural Order is not bad. I think this is a keep, but I'm skeptical. We would like our opponent to do some mulliganing. Of course, Lord Beerus is not one of those players, so... They have a 7-card Bizarre hand. I think I'm just going to play out all of my fast mana just so it doesn't get griefed. So we have a Deathrite on the play versus Dredge. Time to find out if that is actually worth anything. They hit triple Dredger. So our Deathrite Shaman will be eating Narcomoebas instead of trying to eat their stuff. Might even just hard cast. Okay, we can actually hard cast Gush if we want, or we can just go. I think I'm gonna no, I shouldn't hard cast Gush because that puts me off of that puts me off of being able to Natural Order. But I also don't want to Gush alternate cast yet because I don't want to use my 2 lands that can let me Deathrite. So I'm going to hold 1 turn here and give them the opportunity to activate. I will eat any Narcomoebas. They have a Cabal Therapy in their yard. Okay, so I'm going to put the stop in their draw step. And I'm going to fetch for a black sword. Oh, they have 2 Cabal Therapies now. Okay. I can't eat bridge from below, so... Alright, well, I'm still gonna put the stop in their draw step. See if they hit. They didn't hit an Archamoeba. Okay. Alright, so... They have second Bazaar? Oh, no. That's bad. Because now if they hit double Narcomoeba, they get to tear apart my hand. They didn't hit double Narcomoeba yet. Last Dredge hit 1 Narcomoeba, which we can eat. So we might have actually gotten through this unscathed here. So I can eat this Narcomoeba. And now I don't get torn apart by Cabal Therapies. Wow. Okay. So you're saying there's a chance. The problem is they are playing. I guess we have Deathrite Shaman to eat a Ashen Rider. Oh, they whiffed hard. They whiffed extremely hard. I would agree with that. All right, so I just want to get an Atraxa in play on this turn. Green, blue, Gush. We need to hit something, though. We hit nothing. Well, I can eat the Icarid, and that buys us some amount of time. Doesn't actually buy us time, though. I think that just loses us the game, right? So I can't stop the Icarid, which tears our hand apart. And I can't stop the Ashen Rider. What's better to stop? Is it better to stop the Icarid or is it better to stop the Ashen Rider? I guess it's better to stop the Ashen Rider. I guess I'll just play this Narcomoeba. Because I'm going to lose my whole hand anyways. Yeah, I drew land for turn, land for Gush, and Fluster off Gush when I needed to hit action spells. I think it's like totally possible if I hit like Hermit Druid, I would actually be fine. Or if I hit Natural Order, I would be fine. But hitting nothing in 3 draws is definitely not going to do it. I am just going to let the Icarid come, and this way I just don't get Ashen Ridered. All right, there's the Ashen Rider. I'm just going to hit this in response to the... Well, I guess I don't have to hit it in response. I just... Wait, I don't know. It's all doomed, right? They can just Dread Return, target something else. I also have Flusterstorm on Dread Return or Cabal Therapy. Maybe I can live long enough that they draw out and I can like Ancestral them for lethal or something. Yep. Blind Force name. Cluster name. Oh, they have 2 Ashen Riders. Oh. Never mind. I didn't realize they would play 2. They have 2 Ashen Riders and 2 Dread Returns, right? Yeah. Well, that's unfortunate. Got him. All they have to do is naturally draw, and the mill plan doesn't help. Yeah, they just naturally draw, so they're still at 6 cards in hand. So I don't think the mill plan works. We are still getting Ashen Ridered here. I mean, we still have some like sequence of Ancestrals that probably can get us something. Like, we could technically draw Ancestral Hermit Druid Time Walk, right? I think this game is still live. We have one draw, but we have one draw. Ancestral Hermit Druid Time Walk is probably our live draw here. Well, now they very smartly sacked their Ashen Rider to another therapy to kill my Black Lotus. I should crack my Black Lotus so it didn't get exiled. But I was F6'd. My opponent has named Savage Stomp on Cabal Therapy. That feels illegal. Oh my, they have another Dread Return? How many? They have 3 Dread Returns and 4 therapies and 2 riders? That's a lot. Do they have another therapy? All right, well. All good things start with Ancestral Recall. That's Atraxa. That is notably not Ancestral Recall. Wow. All right. We were not drawing the cards we needed. I actually think the keep ended up being fine. We just needed to draw. I mean, my opponent had a double Bazaar hand, whiffed, and we just whiffed harder. Like, my opponent's hand was quite stacked. All right. So we're going to bring in Leyline and Tabernacle, and then they probably have their own Tabernacles where we might, or sorry, their own Leylines. But we have access to Beseiju, and we still have Natural Order Atraxa. Natural Order Atraxa is definitely a lot worse against the Ashen Rider build, it looks like, though. Do we keep in... I mean, Misstep has got to go. Daze still looks good. Oracle Consult looks good. Oko's got to go. Card's not very good here. Gush is not very... I mean, Dig Through Time and Gush are typically not very good in this matchup. All right, we have options. I'm just trying to figure out if we want to bring in some Vigors. Might be better to have a Vigor than a Jace. Something like this. Something like this seems fine. I guess I didn't explain the combo at the beginning of the video, but oops. I've made so many Hermit Druid videos, I kind of just was like, why would I? But I should really explain that stuff every time. Okay, yes. Yes. Dueling ley lines. All right. So my opponent's got a ley line. I got a ley line. Who wins? I played out my tropical because I kind of need my Misty to fetch a Dryad Arbor. Oh, that would be a good play if I was an extremely powerful wizard. Sorry, Beerus. I am just simply more powerful. Sure, you can force a Deathray Shaman. I'm okay with that one. All right, I think we're good in this game. We do need to get a bunch of mana to get to Natural Order, but we'll get there eventually. I don't want to fetch the Dryad Arbor until I have to. True or false? I guess no matter what, I'll probably have to pay for the Dryad Arbor with itself. I guess I could technically get the beatdown on, but... I mean, we have double counterspell, so we can wait, and then eventually we'll just get an Atraxa in play, and that will be the game. We had the classic combination of Leyline Tabernacle. I mean, that Deathheart Shaman was a clock, you know? Fear me. Fear me, Beerus. Fear me. Console. I ain't casting that. No shot. No chance. Not a chance in the world that we cast Demonic Consultation, unless we have a Thassa's Oracle in play. Underground Sea, we're close. We are close now. I have an Arbor, but the Arbor I have to pay for because of my Tabernacle. So is there really a compelling reason to fetch for the Arbor right now? Just cast this. I guess I could be attacking with the Arbor, right? I actually didn't draw a land off that. Interesting. I guess there's no... Hermit Druid is not different than Arbor, but I guess it means I can draw a different land and then fetch a non-Arbor land and cast Natural Order. Maybe I'm just supposed to wait and just cast more ley lines, but the second ley line isn't actually good. All right, my opponent has had enough, I guess. I don't really think that, like, so here I can draw this land, pay for my Hermit Druid, fetch 2 non-Arbor lands, and then Natural Order my Hermit Druid away. Maybe I'm just supposed to be fetching Arbor earlier and paying for it every turn. That just didn't seem right to me. I don't know. It could be wrong, though. Could be right. Could be wrong. Could be right. Who knows? Do I want more Vigors? I don't know. I'm not really convinced. Like, it's nice that we have access to a Hermit Druid kill, but maybe we don't care about a Hermit Druid kill. I don't know. There's also that. True. True. I could just draw the Arbor and cast it right away. I have 4 lands. Think I am just going to trim a land here. I don't know. Who knows? All right, looking for another Leyline hand. That's like the only way we have... I mean, Leyline was not good enough against our opponent. We needed to have exactly Leyline Tabernacle to beat them, which is part of the reason why Hollow One is just so absurd. Oh, Anti-Rush is here. Yeah, what up, Anti-Rush? What a perfectly nice hand of Magic the Gathering cards that we can't keep because Bazaar is dumb. So sad. A perfectly nice hand of Magic the Gathering cards. Ooh. That is also a perfectly nice hand of Magic the Gathering cards. I like to keep this one. Leyline, you got one? No Leyline? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, no. So are we supposed to force this and expose ourselves to Vigor as their last 2 cards? Or are we supposed to let this take either force or Hermit Druid? I feel like the answer is just force it, right? Oh. Like if I don't force it, it takes Hermit Druid, but means they also do nothing, right? So maybe we just let it go. Because if they take Force of Will, then we still have other stuff. So I guess we just let it go. Can't lose with Leyline? What if their last 2 cards are hollow ones? What if they take my Hermit Druid? Their last 2 cards are hollow ones. They took my Merchant Scroll. Ooh. It's Beerus. Of course there's a hollow one. Come on now. Does this Hermit Druid resolve? I really like a blue card. Not a blue card. Notably, not a blue card. I really hope we draw a blue card for turn so that we don't get like Surgical Extracted or Noxious Revivaled or something. We would need a land, a natural order Atraxa. All right, do the blue card. So I have 3 Narcomoebas still in my deck. So this should just win unless my opponent has double Surgical or double Noxious or something like that. Could definitely lose from this spot if my opponent has double Noxious or double Surgical. Let's go! We have defeated the Dredge Master! Or Rav Trap plus something. I mean, I have one piece of interaction beat. I just can't beat double pieces of interaction. So. Okay, let's go. Okay, tournament match. I don't know what you call this. The ultimate finals. The 3-0 versus 3-0 match versus the Sandy Dog. Sandy Dog has recently discovered that Doomsday is the best deck in the format and has been absolutely crushing prelims with it. So we'll see if our deck can hang with Doomsday. The answer is it's going to be pretty tough. I didn't really put a lot of anti-Doomsday cards in this version, so see what we can do. My hand has Force of Will. And we have a kind of an... It's close. Unfortunately, this consult is like not castable in any capacity, really. If we keep this hand, hit a land drop, and play Hermit Druid, I think I would be pretty happy keeping this hand. What's our percentage chance on that? 16 plus 4 is 20. 20 out of 52. That's pretty bad. Let's put this hand back and try again. Yeah, this one is much stronger. We get to put a Narcomoeba back. We have our mana with the Deathray Shaman. We still have access to Force of Will, and this is a much better hand. Much better. Good keep. All right, Sandy Dog has kept with a 7-card hand. I'm going to put back one of the Meebas. And I'm going to fetch a Trop, I guess. All right, what do you got for us, Sandy? Fetchland Preordain? Fetchland Dark Ritual? Fetchland Dark Ritual, okay. and Doomsday and Force and Force backup for their Doomsday. Uh-huh. All right. Deck seems reasonable. Definitely not too broken. Oh boy. How dare I come at Sandy Dog with a deck that isn't Doomsday? It's okay. Maybe we can bank on the opponent makes some mistake in deck build or deck or pile construction. We do hopefully get a turn here where we can go something like, Ponder into Flusterstorm, Gush into Force, something like that. My opponent can technically win the game if their hand consists of a cantrip. If their hand has a Street Wraith, they can Street Wraith into Black Lotus, cantrip into Ancestral, Ancestral into Sapphire Oracle, and kill us on turn 1. Their hand did not have that, so that's good. Can we draw Interaction? I need to draw Interaction really bad. All right, so Ponder and Gush. I could technically Gush first and then Ponder, so I don't see extra of the same cards. But that would leave me with no lands. But I still would be able to play my 1 Fluster off of Death, right? I think the answer is Ponder. What I would like to see is force blue card Hermit Druid. In that case, I can draw and play Hermit Druid and then Gush into force blue card and then force their play. I think all of these things end up with me wanting to Gush first. So the problem with Gush first is what mana am I floating? Am I floating green-blue if I think that Hermit Druid Force of Will is the play I want? Let me look at my deck again. I could draw Daze too. Oh, what about Daze? Well, I think if I can go 1 counter spell plus Hermit Druid, that seems winning. So if I can have Fluster or Mental Misstep, because they're going to go for an Ancestral. Oh no, they have land. Yeah. Fluster, Mental Misstep, Daze, Force, plus Hermit Druid. Yeah, I'm going to cast Ponder first. Beseiju Oracle. All right, well, none of those cards do anything for us, so... Deathrite Shaman also does nothing for us. Okay. One more draw for funsies. We've been bested. All right, let's see what pile they made. I have a lot of lands in my deck for what it's worth. I'm on 17 lands. I guess you could say 2 are spells, so I'm on 15 lands, but I don't have that many cantrips in my deck. I don't have any preordains in my deck, so flooding out is pretty normal. I think it's just Ancestral on top. So like if we had hit Mental Misstep or Flusterstorm plus a way to combo, I think it was like possibly winning. Yeah, I really think that this game was totally winnable with like decent anything, like anywhere close to decent draws. I think this game was totally winnable, but our Ponder hit 3 blanks and then our Gush hit 2 blanks, or a blank and or half a blank, I guess, or a blank and a half. I don't know. We just unfortunately did not hit the cards we needed to win. But I think there was shots to win this game. All right. I have Collector Roof, which technically slows down my opponent's deck, and I have a couple extra counter spells if I want them. Beseiju doesn't really have relevance unless they go for ley lines, which is fine. I don't really care if they go for ley lines. Maybe I do care. What's the likelihood a game goes so long that I want to Hermit Druid kill them through a ley line? I feel like we just take out Oko and Beseiju and one Meba and try to be lean and mean. Yeah, I mean, they turn one comboed us with Days back up. I just like this hand. This hand's totally fine. We can see what they're up to. We have a mental misstep. I like this hand. All right, show me your secrets. What did you keep? 7-card hand, Dark Ritual, Jet, Necropotence, Force, Fluster, Daze, Vamp. Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. Nope. Hope they force it. Okay. Does mean they'll have to force my oof, but then we won't be able to pay for days. Oh, I guess we can time walk first. Now, if we hit a land drop, we can pay for days. True Dread Return. So I cast this Collector Roof. They force it, pitching, Fluster, or Daze. They upkeep Vamp for load it. Oh, this is still fine. They have to force this. I just don't know if they'll probably pitch Fluster, I guess. But if they pitch Fluster, I guess it doesn't really matter if they Vamp for Lotus, and then we just counter their spell anyways. Are you gonna Vamp? Okay. I'm gonna let this Vamp resolve. Hopefully they'll go Lotus, and then I'll just Necro. I'll just hit the Necro with the negation. Because they don't have a land to Daze here. How do they have 2 cards in hand? What am I missing? Oh, whatever they drew for turn last turn. Emerald. I'm just going to do nothing. I'll consult if I need to not die. Hard. Days is now up. Blue, black, time walk. Sure. I could have consulted for Oracle, I guess, but that was not Oracle, for Hermit. I don't really think that was good. Deathray Shaman. I will cast Dread Return on my Collector Roof. I actually have had no fetch land, so I have to eat their fetch land. Sandy talking. He just said, "What in the world?" Stop popping it out. All right. I have successfully resolved my Collector Roof with my Dread Return. God bless. My opponent has Days and 3 unknowns now. Cut down on my Collector Roof. All right, my opponent has successfully killed my Collector Roof. I'm just representing that I can eat mana and pay for days. I don't think the attack matters, whereas the mana might matter. Oh my lord. Am I supposed to consult here? What can we consult for? I don't think so. We just hold up Deathrite activation. Like, what am I consulting for if I consult here? There's 2 natural orders. You're more likely to like hit the Atraxa than anything else. There, I took Oko out, so no Okos. Let's take Time Walk out of their deck. Demonic Tutor, huh? Feels like a good one. Just go... I don't really know if I want to go Hermit Druid. Doesn't that feel like a way we can lose the game? If I go Hermit Druid here, and they have, like, double counter spell or something, it just feels like a way we lose the game. JVP. Is JVP better than playing another Collector Roof? We can go Ancestral, we could go Collector Oof, we could go Hermit Druid, we could go JVP, we could go Gush. We could just go Oracle Consult, true. I actually have enough mana to do that through a daze. Is that better? What we could do is we could demonic for Hermit, or we could demonic for Oracle and then console for Hermit Druid, and then we would have a Hermit Druid activation. We could do that. I mean, aren't we more likely to win this game by activating Deathrite Shaman and having an active Collector Oof? I'm pretty sure we are. I'm pretty sure everyone in chat is wrong, and I'm just supposed to go Collector Oof. Ancestral is fine too. But I just don't have very many good cards to draw to, so I'm not really convinced Ancestral is what we want to be doing. Like, if I get Ancestral, what do I want? A Collector Roof? It could even be a boat. Like, there are definitely combo lines I can take there. I just don't think the combo lines are going to give me the highest percentage chance of winning. And could even lose me the game, depending on which combo line you choose. All right, well, now we have Consult for blue card, which is really, really nice. Cut down is better than Fatal Push when your opponent has an Archon of Emeria in play. Hardcast Force would not be a very good play against our opponent's known days. All right, got him. Okay, got him. No, we had 5 mana there. Well, I should remember that I have 1 less Narcomoeba. All right, game 3 on the draw against Doomsday. Final match. 3-0 versus 3-0. Can we win this prelim? Or does Doomsday get in there? This hand has a Force of Will. I probably should just keep it. I wouldn't consider this hand to be great, but it is a hand. Dark Ritual? Turn 1 Doomsday? Do they have counter backup again? Yep. Turn 1 Doomsday with counter backup 2 out of 3 games. Anyone who tells you that Doomsday is not a turn 1 combo deck is a filthy liar. Oh, god damn. So disgusting. Doomsday is not the best combo deck in Vintage. Doomsday is the best deck in Vintage. It's not remotely close in my mind. The only bad thing for Doomsday is Pilot. If you are just a good pilot, the Doomsday is just broken. Yeah, I think Doomsday is just the best deck in Vintage. I think it's just tier 0, in my mind anyways. All right, I get a turn, so I need to draw Force off this. I drew the stupid Gush again. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. All right, Ponder, I need you to find me a Force, please. Why? Why, man? The deck is broken. There's no counterplay. They just kill you, and there's no counterplay. Cool, I die. You got me, Sandy Dog. Such an outplay. All right, no 4-0 victory for the Brew. Unfortunately, all brews do not beat Demonic Doomsday. Not much to do. Not much to do. To be fair, I did not build my deck in a way that is super cohesive at beating Doomsday. But that should still not... Oh, I lost my thing. I mean, I still shouldn't get killed on turn one. I kept 7-card Forcible hands on the draw in both games, and my opponent turn one killed me in both games through Force of Will. And so, you know, it's like hard to ask for much more on the other side of the table. So, but in the bright side, this deck is sweet. Did a lot of cool things. The Atraxa Natural Order seems like it has some viability here. It makes a lot of sense. It's a very small package, and it kind of rewards you for your mana base already. Where I have, you know, 8 fetch lands that fetch Dryad Arbor. So I have a lot of ability to Natural Order with low creature count. And the Natural Order Atraxa did win us one game. It got boarded out a couple times because I think some of the matchups that we wanted it for we didn't really see those. We definitely want it for things like Dredge and other bizarre decks, and we didn't really play. We only played against one of those. I do think that we probably did a wrong number here. It should be like more Collector Oofs and less Vigors. We didn't play against any Mono White, but I think you really need to respect Mono White and have answers to Mono White's creatures. So that is what it is. You could do things like cut Jace, play an extra Flusterstorm. You could theoretically play Dress Down. You could play Negations in the main. Like, there are a lot of ways to make this deck better against Doomsday. Personally, I'm not sure it's ever very good to make decks better against Doomsday because it doesn't really matter, right? Like, what are you really going to do? But yeah, this was a really fun brew. I love Hermit Druid. I wish Hermit Druid had a space in Vintage. It always feels like the Hermit Druid decks are so close to being playable, but something's always off. One big problem is I really dislike the Narcomoeba package. I like to be able to board out the Narcomoebas in the Dread Return and board in extra Oracles and try not to play through the graveyard. But even then, like, your deck is still really clunky and has a lot of moving parts, and you don't have really room to add things that help smooth your deck. Like, if I didn't play Natural Order, Atraxa, Dryad Arbor, I can play 4 Preordains and make my deck a little bit smoother. But I think I'd make your deck much lower power level. And currently, making your deck smoother is not really the priority in Vintage because the format speed is so fast. And so it's better to have a deck that has a higher power and is more clunky than it is to have a deck that is smoothing their draws with cantrips. And you'll see that you'll hear about that in my my next Voice of Vintage video, which will already be up by the time this video airs on the YouTube channel. So go check that out. And yeah, more vintage content on this channel every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern. I will see you then.